It's kind of bugging me. And we're just gonna make it a little bit less on her point right here, her point toe. The longer I stare at an image, the more kind of things I see. Next thing I'm noticing about this image is the light is kind of hitting her from all right, so my initial thought for this image was to implement in that rainbow from our other shot. So let's go ahead and do that. At this point in the process, we're gonna unlock our base layer and duplicate it, just in case we do anything funky with the original one, we have a copy to go back to. So we just opened our raw file with the rainbow reflection in it, and all we're gonna do is go over here and press previous conversion. That way it'll give us the same edit we applied to on our previous one. So we're just gonna go ahead and open that. Now within the image that has the rainbow in it, we're gonna head over to our lasso tool and go in and select all around that rainbow. And then we're gonna go to edit, copy, and then come over to our original photo and paste that selection. We're gonna play around with transforming it, so Command T. And then we're gonna head over to our blending modes above our layer and sort through. I think lighten will be perfect for this. And then we're just gonna drag over and see how that is looking. We're gonna head over to our eraser tool. We're gonna put the hardness down to 0 and boost the size up even more. And then go around those hard edges and kind of get rid of those. We're also gonna head over to the opacity and play around with that because 100 is seeming just a little bit too intense for me. So we're gonna continue playing with this rainbow effect and kind of minimizing it, but also making sure you can see it. We're just gonna play a little bit with this transform tool once more. Command and holding some of these corners will also kind of skew it. I like doing that a lot. And then, yeah, I'm kind of into that. We're just gonna zoom in here and get a little specific with the grass that you can see. For me, it feels a little distracting, so we're just gonna use the patch tool and kind of go in and drag over to a selection that we want over the texture of the grass. So we're just going in here very subtly. Now that we feel pretty confident with the rainbow and how it's looking, we're going to create a color selective mask so we can play a little bit more with the colors that came from Camera Raw. So on our bottom right layer panel, we're gonna head over here and go to selective color. And now that things are getting a little bit more busy, we're gonna start naming our layers right here. Our base layer, base copy, rainbow, and selective color is opened up right there. So we're gonna make sure that this selective color mask is above everything else because it will change whatever hues we're selecting for whatever is underneath it. I play a lot with selective color, but I don't always know exactly what my goal is, but I find that going through kind of every color will give you a different effect. So for me, it's all about just experimenting. So we're gonna start playing around with the reds. We're heading over to the greens because there is a lot of green in this photo as well as yellow. I tend to make greens a little bit more on the bluer side. I just feel like it adds some fun. And then our neutrals will kind of give a nice base overlay color with whatever you start to select. So we're gonna go in with cyan, magenta, and then we have the yellow and the black, and we're just gonna keep playing around with that. I'm also noticing that this feels a little bit off. I'm just gonna straighten it. I'm gonna go over to our crop tool and just do a little bit of straightening. Nothing crazy. Cool. While I edit, I do like to kind of switch around. So I'm gonna go back to this rainbow. It's kind of bugging me. And we're just gonna make it a little bit less on her point right here, her point toe. The longer I stare at an image, the more kind of things I see. Next thing I'm noticing about this image is the light is kind of hitting her from above, and the light on her stomach is a little bit more saturated. So we're just gonna go in there and literally just unsaturate it on this copy layer. So we just headed to our desaturation tool, which is the sponge tool, and we're just going to zoom in on here and kind of desaturate her stomach just slightly. And in that same selection where the sponge tool was, we're going to head over to our dodge tool, make that a little bit brighter, and just make her stomach also a little bit brighter. So the dodge tool makes highlights, midtones, and shadows brighter, while the burn tool makes those same ranges darker. So if I zoom out, you can kind of see the before and after. It's a slight just match to her skin tone. What I do a lot is I go back to this original frame and we can kind of see what we've done so far. So just a lot of selecting and unselecting, making sure we're liking it. And with these different layers, of course, we can go back in and play around with anything without being too destructive. So we're just going to go back into this selective color panel and play a little bit more with that. Another thing I like to do sometimes is bring over the original JPEG image and layer it over what we're creating. This way you can kind of see what you've done, and sometimes you may go back some steps and feel like you've gone too far, so this is perfect for just kind of a nice original frame. Because remember, this base layer still has our camera raw settings on it. So these are the steps so far. We have our original frame, our camera raw frame, our frame with the dodge and burn and desaturation tools on it, our rainbow lens flare, and our selective color.